So I've stumbled into a bizarre little corner on the internet where people are absolutely convinced that they're in communication with aliens and interdimensional beings. Like full-on intergalactic pen pals. And I'm not saying I don't think it's possible, but you'll see. These people are either onto something or on something. Anyways, let's just dive right in. Let's explore the legend of Bashar, an interdimensional being channeled by Raëlian, and the wisdom they claim to share with humanity. Daryl was born October 12, 1955 in Los Angeles, California. He grew up in Southern California, and from an early age, he showed an interest in art and filmmaking. Daryl pursued his passion for visual arts, studying at the Los Angeles City College and later working as a film editor and director in Hollywood. He had always been intrigued by topics like spiritual growth, alien life, and consciousness expansion. He was particularly interested in extraterrestrial phenomena and spiritual practices that focused on connecting to higher dimensions. In 1983, while exploring these ideas, Anka had a transformative experience that led him to a meditative state. During this time, he felt an intense connection to an entity he later identified as Bashar. Anka described this encounter as a telepathic connection, where he received profound messages about life, consciousness, and the universe. According to Daryl, Bashar is an entity from the Essassani, an extraterrestrial civilization that exists in a different dimension and has a deep spiritual connection with humans. Bashar claims to be an advanced being from the future, specifically from an evolved version of Earth in another dimension. So Bashar claims that the Essassani are from an evolved version of Earth, but from another dimension. Got it. Bashar's messages are heavily focused on self-realization and spiritual awakening. He encourages individuals to understand and embrace their true selves, often speaking about how one can achieve inner peace and clarity by understanding universal principles. Key teachings include the idea of living authentically, being in alignment with one's true purpose, and following one's excitement. Bashar apparently claims that excitement is a guide for people to follow in life, as it is seen as a manifestation of alignment with one's higher self and purpose. Another core teaching of Bashar is the concept of parallel realities. According to Bashar, there are countless parallel versions of reality, and by shifting one's thoughts and emotions, one can shift to a reality that is more aligned with their desires and personal growth. This ties into the idea that reality is fluid, and that individuals have the power to consciously create and influence their experiences by understanding their own belief systems and making conscious changes to them. These are good messages, to be fair. I support almost anything that makes people look inward and become a better version of themselves. Except this. Bashar claims that his civilization is in close contact with Earth and has been offering assistance to humanity, especially in areas of spiritual evolution and peaceful coexistence. The Essassani, according to Bashar, have a deep interest in humanity's growth and spiritual awakening, as they see it as a pivotal part of the universal consciousness. Bashar's teachings have attracted a dedicated following, particularly among those interested in New Age spirituality, extraterrestrial life, and consciousness expansion. And there's a surprising number of people who follow Bashar and his messages. Between Daryl's social media accounts, there are hundreds of thousands of people who follow Bashar. It's actually crazy how many people are into Bashar. If you click any of his videos and look at the comments, I mean, it's overwhelmingly supportive, which is great and all, but like, you know what, do you? The Bashar community has grown through workshops, public appearances, and online content where Daryl offers guidance on a variety of topics, including healing, manifestation, and life purpose. This guy doesn't even say anything. Go look at it. You know what? I'm going to show you a clip from one of his videos.
The idea being that because of the nature of the vortex of energy that exists in this area, it is connected to many different realms, many different realities, many different dimensions. And so we would like to discuss.
He sounds like me in school when I was trying to get the word count on an essay. We are gathered here upon this day of Friday at 5:69 p.m. in this country on the United States of America, within the confines of planet Earth, within the building, within... Many followers see Bashar's teachings as a valuable tool for personal and spiritual development. While Daryl describes Bashar's messages as a net positive for humanity, He often establishes a paywall in front of these messages, which has allowed Daryl to profit substantially. He has also published several books, such as Bashar, Blueprint for Change, which have sold hundreds of thousands of copies. Daryl's live workshops, seminars, and webinars where he channels Bashar in front of audiences can range from $100 to several $100s, depending on the length and location of the event. Yes, Bashar is the answer! Oh, Bashar, I love you. Yes, Bashar. Worship Bashar. Additionally, his recorded channeling sessions, audio downloads, and DVDs of past workshops are priced between $10 to $100, depending on the product. For those interested in more personal guidance, Daryl even offers private channeled sessions, which typically come at a higher cost. These sessions can range from $200 to $500 or more. Daryl even sells Bashar-related merchandise. Like many individuals involved in the channeling community, Daryl Anka and Bashar have faced criticisms, particularly regarding the commercialization of spiritual teachings. Critics argue that charging for access to such teachings may be contradictory, especially when the messages are centered around ideas like spiritual enlightenment and non-materialism. Daryl Anka and Bashar remain active today, and their influence persists within a dedicated community. So to summarize, according to Bashar, an interdimensional alien named an interdimensional alien speaking through Daryl has all the answers to life, the universe, and everything, and for the low price of just a few $100s, you too can unlock the secrets of existence. Truly, the wisdom of the cosmos has never been more conveniently monetized. Now let's dive into the world of Lee Carroll and Kryon, a loving, magnetic entity said to deliver messages from beyond the veil and helping humanity awaken its true potential. This sounds familiar. Lee Carroll was born in 1944 and was an American author. He began his work as a channeler for Kryon in 1989, claiming that Kryon is a highly evolved, non-physical being of light who speaks about spiritual evolution, human consciousness, and universal truths. Kryon, according to Lee, is not an alien or extraterrestrial being, but rather a spiritual entity from a higher dimension who speaks in a multi-dimensional space. Lee first began channeling Kryon during a personal crisis, and his early experiences were transformative. He describes his initial encounter with Kryon as a sudden and unexpected experience. After his initial encounters, he felt compelled to share Kryon's messages with others. Today, Kryon has hundreds of thousands of followers worldwide. One of the main messages that Kryon emphasizes is that humans are in the midst of an ascension process, meaning that humanity's collective consciousness is becoming more aware of its connection to the divine and to the universe. This spiritual awakening is often framed as a move toward a higher frequency of living, one based on love, unity, and understanding. According to Kryon, this spiritual awakening is happening right now, and it's a critical time in human history. Lee consistently channels Kryon and has numerous videos on his YouTube channel where he discusses insight into current events and shares wisdom about the future of humanity. Hundreds of thousands of people listen to and follow the word of Kryon and seriously take it as cosmic wisdom and guidance. Kryon's teachings also highlight the importance of the divine feminine in the evolution of human consciousness. This concept of the divine feminine is tied to balance, healing, and spiritual growth. He teaches that the rise of the divine feminine energy will help restore balance between men and women and in the world. The energy of the divine feminine is described as essential for healing, especially in an age where materialism and masculinity have been dominant forces in society. According to Kryon, humanity needs to embrace both masculine and feminine energies to heal the planet and move into a harmonious existence. We aren't already balanced? The last time I checked, the female to male ratio is roughly 50%. I don't understand. He also often talks about an energy grid that surrounds the planet, which is linked to the spiritual evolution of humanity. This grid, according to Kryon, holds vibrational frequencies that affect the planet's health, as well as the consciousness of its inhabitants. They claim that there's certain individuals called light workers that are specifically chosen to help activate and work with this energy grid. They are tasked with raising the planet's vibrational frequency by focusing on their own spiritual growth and healing. Similar to a power plant operating with electricity, Kryon describes the Earth's energy grid to operate through what is described as ley lines. The concept of ley lines are said to be invisible channels of energy running through the sacred sites around the world, such as Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt. These sound like superheroes or something. Haha, I'm the light worker! Kryon describes humanity's spiritual progress as part of a larger cosmic plan, often referring to it as entering into a new age of enlightenment. This era is meant to be be characterized by higher consciousness, peace, and spiritual awareness. Their messages frequently focus on how individuals can take part in this transformation by changing their mindset and opening themselves up to new spiritual possibilities. This involves shifting from a fear-based existence to one of cooperation and compassion. Kryon also teaches that time as we know it is linear, but there are parallel realities and multidimensional aspects to existence. Apparently, humans can shift timelines through their consciousness. The concept of time travel or working with different timelines through consciousness is key to healing. You guys are going to see that this theory of shifting realities to live the life that you want is a pretty common theme amongst these alien prophets. Despite his widespread following, Lee Carroll and his work with Kryon have faced a lot of criticism and controversy over the years. Even people in the channeling community argue that there is no scientific proof to support the existence of beings like Kryon, and that the messages are simply a product of the subconscious mind of the channeler. Skeptics claim that these teachings are just a mix of vague spiritual advice and self-help rhetoric designed to attract followers. Many also point to failed predictions made by Kryon, who predicted specific global events such as the 2012 shift that did not come to fruition. I wonder if this 2012 shift has anything to do with that Mayan calendar theory. I don't know if you guys remember, but people genuinely thought the world was going to end in 2012 because the Mayan calendar was like incredibly accurate at predicting events, and it just ended in 2012. I don't know, sounds like a lot of... In addition, while Kryon advocates for moving beyond the old paradigms of materialism and embrace a more conscious, interconnected existence, Lee Carroll has published numerous books, audio recordings, workshops, exclusive online content, private sessions, and even live events where he channels Kryon in person. These offerings are not inexpensive, and some of these services can cost up to $500 per person or more.
Here comes the money.
Many argue that if Lee Carroll truly believes in Kryon's messages, he might be expected to serve humanity selflessly rather than using his channeling to generate significant income. Charging substantial fees for services could be seen as prioritizing material gain over spiritual service, which contradicts the core teachings of Kryon and other channeled entities. So there you have it, another day, another person channeling interdimensional wisdom. I'm noticing a few trends here. It's honestly impressive how many people are chosen to receive these cosmic messages. If only the rest of us could be so lucky. Just remember, if you're ever contacted by an interdimensional being claiming to reveal universal truths and wisdom, you better make a lot of money from it. Next up is Claude Vorilhon, better known as Raël, who claims he was contacted by extraterrestrials with a bold message that life on Earth was engineered by an advanced race from beyond the stars. Claude was born in France in 1946 and lived a fairly interesting life. He worked as a former sports journalist and a race car driver. He even dabbled in music as a failed pop singer in the 60s. But everything changed in 1973 when he claims he had an encounter with an extraterrestrial being. According to Claude, the being who appeared humanoid described itself as one of the Elohim, took him aboard a spacecraft, and communicated with him about the origins and future of humanity. After this profound encounter, Claude decided to change his name to Raël and began spreading the messages he received from the Elohim. He later founded the Raëlian movement in 1974 to share his knowledge with the world. Raël claims that the Elohim are a highly advanced species from the Pleiades star system. Oh yeah, the Pleiades star system, yeah. And that they genetically engineered human life on Earth thousands of years ago.
Extraterrestrials had something to do with our development.
One of Raël's core teachings is that the Elohim are not gods, but scientific creators responsible for creating modern humans through a process of genetic manipulation. Raël asserts that the Elohim's creation of humans is in line with the biblical concept of God creating man in his image, but at the same time challenges the creationist narrative found in the same biblical text. Raël interprets this to mean that the Elohim are actually our genetic ancestors, not supernatural deities. The Elohim allegedly left Earth thousands of years ago, and they provided humans with advanced technologies and knowledge, but they promised to return one day. Raël's central message is that the return will mark the beginning of a new age for humanity, bringing profound scientific, spiritual, and societal advancements to Earth. The Elohim are said to be benevolent and wish to share their knowledge with humanity. Raël often emphasizes that they have no interest in politics or material wealth, but instead seek to guide humanity toward a more enlightened, peaceful existence. He teaches that humanity must abandon its religious dogmas, embrace science, and work toward global peace and environmental sustainability in preparation for their return. He asserts that their return will be peaceful and will involve massive technological advancements. One of the most controversial aspects of Raël's teachings is his advocacy for human cloning. He has stated that the Elohim themselves can clone humans and that human cloning could be used to create immortality for individuals by recreating their consciousness in a new body. He has also been involved in efforts to create cloning research projects. He also shares his view of sexual liberation, emphasizing that humans should embrace their sexuality without shame or guilt. His teachings advocate for free love and sexual expression as an essential part of human freedom. Raël believes that humanity is part of a universal community and that all life in the universe is interconnected. He promotes ideas of peace, love, and interstellar unity. The Raëlian movement reportedly has tens of thousands of members across the globe. Followers are often drawn due to the emphasis on science, reason, and spirituality, as well as his rejection of traditional religious doctrines. The movement has been involved in activism for cloning rights, freedom of expression, and scientific progress. Followers of the Raëlian movement are encouraged to work toward global peace, protect the environment, and prepare for the Elohim's return. They also participate in a range of rituals and ceremonies, including the celebration of Raël's encounter with the Elohim. Some critics have labeled the Raëlian movement a cult due to its unorthodox teachings, hierarchical structure, and Raël's position as its central figure. However, the movement rejects this label, claiming it is a philosophical and spiritual community rather than a cult. It's a cult. Raël has of course profited from his movement, despite his advocacy for spiritual teachings over materialism. His followers have made him millions of dollars through things like membership fees, book sales, seminars, merchandise, and donations. Since the movement is structured like a religious organization, it allows for tax-exempt status in some countries, naturally increasing their revenue. Being nearly 80 years old, Raël has stepped back from the public eye. However, other leaders and high-ranking members within the Raëlian movement have been appointed to carry out his work and represent the movement publicly, traveling across the world, spreading his message, and building his community to this day. He remains an active figure in the movement, even though he is often considered a controversial and eccentric leader. So to sum it all up, a former pop singer, a supposed alien encounter, and a cloning company with questionable results. Honestly, who wouldn't want to join a movement promising eternal life and extraterrestrial secrets? Especially when it's all conveniently for sale. If nothing else, Raël's got the market cornered in interesting ideas. Alright, that's all I got for you guys. I'm sorry this video took so long. I actually had 2 more parts to this video, but I couldn't export them. I even remade them twice, and I still couldn't do it, so I just gave up. I do everything from a phone, as you probably know, and it's just not enough, unfortunately, so those are lost forever, but yeah, join the Discord, link in the description. Foot Lettuce family is strong, and yeah, that's it. Foot Lettuce guy out.